Get it. I want to take a minute or two. I want to introduce a lady right from the get-go. Her name is Colleen. She wrote a book, and today her book came out, and she got a hold of me, and she was out of her mind. Like, ah! It was almost like giving birth to a baby. I mean, I don't know for sure how that's right, but I mean, she is an incredible woman who, I don't know, a year and a half ago came to me and says, Carl, I'm retiring. I don't know what to do with my life. I said, become a coach. She said, what? A coach? So she investigated and she knew about it. And then she's on her path. And then she said, what do I do after that? I said, write a book. She wrote a book. She says, I haven't written more than 10 pages in my life. She's got 165 pages, 176 pages. Yeah.
What's the topic? I can't see the title.
Yeah, the title is called A Woman's Journey of a Lifetime, Thriving Through the Transitions of Life. And, she wrote it about her life of pain, challenges, and overcoming and being resilient and being perseverance, never giving up. And it's really a great story. We published it, so I had a chance to read it and review it, and we had an editor who jumped on it, and it turned out to be a really, really nice book. So it's a good read. I'm gonna promote it. Told Annette, not Annette, Colleen. Sorry about that. Annette, you've got your own book.
That's right.
So we want to get that out there a little bit. So it take me about 2 or 3 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Other than that, here comes Richard Zolke. There he is.
Z-Man is in the house.
Yeah. There he is. Z baby. Is Scott going to be here tonight? You're on mute, bud.
Yes, I am, or was. Scott said he'd be here, so
Good.
hopefully that'll stay.
Wonderful. So, Annette, do you want to jump on this? What's the protocol?
Are you talking about tonight's meeting?
Yeah, I mean we're meeting.
Well, Mr. Mike is in charge.
Well, good.
I'm not in charge tonight. Mike is the host. So
You're always in charge of that. What are you talking about?
Well, everybody got a chance to look at the agenda,
that's
right?
true. I am. Yep, just go by the agenda.
Yep. So, and then Carl and I were just talking before we got on here that we were going to ask people to give them 45 seconds each to share their name of their business, and who they bring hope to. Their specialty and who they bring hope to.
Is that good? Leadership team?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Goes right in tune with our speaker tonight. So.
Much needed topic today. Especially at the hospital where my wife's at.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Michelle, what do you need?
I have one question in case someone can answer that for me. As I am in presenter view with PowerPoint, I can float the chat window, but I'm not sure how to float the images of all of you to see your lovely faces. Does anyone know how to float that on top of the presenter? If not, that's okay.
Mike?
What did you need to do?
So when I go into the presenter mode, presenter view for PowerPoint, right? It takes up both screens, right? So I can float the chat window over top so I can see if there's a chat, but I can't, I'm not sure how to float all of your faces. so that I can see your faces as well.
Oh, if you go to the view up on the top right, there's a view thing.
Mhm.
If you click on that, you can play around with the view thing there, and you can actually move the window of what you're presenting over. There's a little line that shows up,
Okay.
and you should be able to move that over from when you're sharing your screen. And then she's going to need to be made a co-host, Carl,
Yeah, I'm gonna do
and then
that.
so am I, in order to show the PowerPoint for our purpose.
Okay. I can do 2 people at once?
Yep, you can have as many co-hosts as you want.
Okay, well,
You could make us all co-hosts.
you're already a host. You don't need.
Oh, Richard, we could so mess with the rest of the group if we were.
Oh, we
co-hosts,
could. Yes, we could.
But we're not going to. We're going to behave ourselves tonight, right?
Hey, Annette, was there a Coach Masters on Monday?
No, we met for a fellowship in a way, in
Okay.
person.
There will be this coming Monday, right?
There will be, and Shannon Lee is going to be presenting there, so,
Oh, I got to go to that.
yeah,
Do you want to shout that out a little bit,
sure.
if you like?
Tell me when.
Whatever you want.
No, you need to tell, well, no, Mike,
Oh,
you
I
need to- Mike, you're in charge. You tell me when.
I'll introduce the leadership team right after my moment, and I'll introduce all of you. If you want to say a word, you can say a word, and then maybe in that moment, Annette.
Okay,
Is that
You
cool?
mean, is that at the end, Carl?
No, at the
the
beginning.
beginning.
Okay,
Yeah, I always want to introduce the leadership team.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yep.
Annette, did you say you met in person?
Yeah, we did.
Nice. That must have
Yeah,
been a real treat.
Oh my goodness. We met at a restaurant here in Oregon City and all of us approached each other like, oh my gosh, is that what you look like? So, it was pretty fun.
how many people?
There were just 5 of us,
Okay.
but 5 awesome women, let me tell you.
Oh boy, I don't want to miss that next time. So, Michelle, where are you now?
Roseburg,
Oh, Rose.
about 3 hours south of Portland.
Hmm.
Yeah, been here a little over 2 years.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah,
How long are you going to be here?
I do not currently have plans to relocate.
She's a world traveler, let me tell you. Since I've known her, it's like she'll contact me from different places. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. My most recent adventure was a business trip to Portugal in February. Let me tell you, that was something. Strange time to be traveling.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
I made it home.
Yay.
Yeah, good thing you got back in the country.
Oh.
I kept thinking that very thing.
Oh my God, is that Sabrina Perez? Uh-oh. There goes the neighborhood.
Look out. Look out. It's gonna get crazy in here now.
It already was. Now it's crazy.
You look like you're in a sauna.
I know, isn't it? Isn't that funny? I thought the same thing. It's hilarious.
Then we have Sean Chase. Yes. Hello,
Hi,
Mr.
Carl.
All the way from Central Oregon.
Ah, nice. Where
All
at?
right.
Bend,
Lapine.
Lapine. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, have you ever been here before?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I used to have a house in Sun River for quite a few years. So I went every weekend for a long time. I miss it. I love it
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, I've been over here about 5 years.
Have you?
I love it.
Do you ski?
I do, not enough though. I need to do it more.
You're so close.
No, that's the thing. It's a shame I haven't been taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
Sean.
man. Best place to ski, Bachelor in Oregon anyways.
Yeah.
So Sean is in module 4, and he
Oh, good.
And he
Oh,
called me up this morning or texted me and says, Carl, I've got a client, he wants to pay. How do I do this?
Congratulations and welcome to the club.
He's already got a paid client after he graduated.
Very cool.
Way to go,
Good.
Sean.
That's something to celebrate.
Yep.
Really?
Mhm.
I told him just to leave the money under the doormat. That works, right?
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
works. However you can get it.
Mhm.
Hey, Mike, ask them maybe where they're from in that intro section, okay?
Okay.
Because we have a lot of
Yeah.
people covering a lot of different places.
And
Oh,
there's the author.
yes,
Yay!
there she is.
Hello. How are you,
Hello.
Colleen?
Hey, Sabrina.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Congratulations, Colleen.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Richard. Thank you very much.
We are
I
now
don't know
part
if
of
I've
the
ever
same
met
club.
What did you say, Annette?
I
Sorry.
said we are now part of the same club,
Authorship.
authorship, the author club.
We've got some budding authors. We've got Miss SP, Sabrina Perez on board. How far away from you are you from that, Sabrina?
Does that laugh tell you anything?
And I know Mr. Richard Zolke, he's got his manuscript ready to go.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
pretty close.
Great.
We're only
working on
2 or 3 years off, I think.
2 or 3 years. Sabrina, Colleen and I would be happy to coach you on how to write a book.
I am all over it. I'm calling you tomorrow.
It'll be a weird kind of group coaching thing.
Yes, that would be
Two
amazing.
coaches, one client. We'll do it.
Yep, I need some help
Hello.
in a lot of areas, but I'll just go with that one for now.
All right. We're multiplying. We've got 12. We got more coming. So
Hi, Leilani.
give us a moment here. Okay. And we'll get rolling here.
Seen some new faces.
Yeah, that's
I don't
great.
know.
Great to
That's
see
cool.
faces, yes. So Mike,
Yes, yes, sir.
co-host. And where'd you go, Michelle? There you are. And make co-host. All right. So Mike and Michelle, co-host. Awesome. All right. We've got people coming on right now. We've got 14 so far. And it's getting wider and wider. So you're getting smaller and smaller. Wow, a lot of people want to find out about hope tonight. It's a big subject. And in fact, we have a person who's coming on from Hope Community Church. Whoa, look out. So hope is the topic for tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rolling. I want to welcome everybody here tonight. All right, the third Tuesday of every month, we gather together as a community. And we gather to community and communion as well. We break bread together, we share together, we learn together. And so tonight we have a really, really, really special night. We have an incredible speaker. And we have a larger group tonight. So we're going to make this an opportunity for you to network, put your information in the chat room so people can get to know you. And we want connections. That's why we come together, for connections. So I'm really excited about tonight's presentation and tonight's gathering. And I want to take a moment. Tonight's gathering and presentation is about hope. I mean, who needs a little hope? The days we're living in today. I like what Desmond Tutu Tutu said once. He said, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness. So I got to tell you, I was in a dark moment yesterday because I went to the gas station, and to fill up my vehicle cost me $75. Okay, I was in darkness for that moment because normally it's $45. Okay, so I'm not sure if you've experienced any grayness or darkness so far with prices that are out there, but I think I could have used a little bit of hope in my attitude when I paid the bill. So there you go. Okay. I want to introduce the leadership team right now. We have an incredible leadership team. We come together, yes, to present, but we also meet the following week, the following Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock, to discuss all the great events and all the things to strengthen as we build this community up. It's a community of business owners, coaches, leaders who come together. So excited about that. So the leadership team, let's start with Sabrina Perez. Hello, Sabrina. You want to shout out for a moment, Sabrina?
Yes, hello everybody. It's good to see everyone here and seeing some new faces too. I'm excited to hear about you. So I am Sabrina Perez, and I am a rapid transformational therapist and rapid transformational coach. And I help people find, discover, and eliminate those limiting beliefs that are holding them back, keeping them stuck. And I am specializing in grief, helping people through the loss of a loved one.
All right, great. And Annette, you want to shout out from your leadership position?
Yes, hello, this is Annette Mulligan. I am owner and operator of A. Mulligan Speaks. I am a trainer, presenter, coach, author, and Arbonne consultant, and I specialize in the chronically ill. As a legally blind type 1 diabetic since the age of 2, I know how difficult and challenging it can be to live with a chronic health condition and the frustrations that come along with that. And I come alongside those who are dealing with that to provide support and encouragement through what I call the 5 principles of wellness for the chronically ill. I do presentations with that title, and I also, my coaching package is that title as well. Thank you.
All righty, and Richard Zolke, a shout out from you.
Hey, Richard Zelke. I have my own coaching practice, Zelke Coaching Solutions, but I'm also the chaplain for a group called Nehemiah Project, who works with businesses internationally, and we provide business education, training, and coaching for entrepreneurs who want to establish their businesses on biblical principles. And so that is really actually taking up most of my time now these days.
All right, and then Mike Stewart. Mike is new to our leadership team. He's also going to be on the hot seat tonight, his first go around as the host. So we'll take an evaluation at the end of the night, okay? About your information, your feedback. Okay, no, Mike, I'm just joking. Okay, no stress here, buddy.
Nope.
So a shout out from you, Mike.
So yeah, my name is Mike Stewart. I live down in Pismo Beach, California. The name of my business is Men Talk to Your Woman. And what I do is I help couples recapture the magic in their marriage through one-on-one and group coaching.
All right, great. So I want to take this moment. I am going to introduce an incredible lady. She's been part of our community for maybe close to a year and a half, maybe 2 years. She graduated from our coach training. She was years in the corporate world. And then one day we were having a conversation and she says to me, I'm retiring and coaching, but what can I add to this? I said, become an author. And she just told me, I think it was just recently, she said, I haven't written more than 10 pages. Well, today her book came out, 175 pages. Where are you, Colleen? You want to give a shout out for your
You can see me. Thank you,
Colleen?
thank you, Carl. I mean, it was and Carl was right. When I first started writing, I could only write, I wrote 10 pages and I went, okay, now, Carl, what do I do now? I don't know what else to talk about. And he kept encouraging me and coaching me and saying, you know, we should talk about this and that, which was very, very helpful. So New Bright Press was instrumental in getting my book published. And when I started thinking about, when I started writing the book, I started thinking about, well, who do I want to write to? Do I want to write, is it just really my story and just sharing it? Or do I really want to write to my my clients? Who, you know, I want them to really be able to resonate with my story, to be able to take it to heart and to be able to find some peace, to find some joy and to find some encouragement, to know that when you're in a toxic relationship like I was for such a long time, that there is a way out and you can get out of that by building your confidence, building your voice, all the things that I did that anybody can do, given, you know, just by putting in the time and effort, and just really wanted to help folks who are stuck to become unstuck. So I am truly grateful to Carl and his team, and also to Catherine. I see Catherine there. She was my editor and loved her. She was awesome. She helped me really kind of dig deeper. Like I'm a very, one of those writers, because I was in the corporate world for so long time, I write very succinctly and very to the point. And Catherine kept saying, you got to write a little bit more. You got to put a little bit more of a story in there. People got to know your story, which really helped me because I needed then to open up and really explain my story and really fill in the gaps. And now when I look at it, I go, wow, it's just incredible. It was such an incredible journey. And I can do it, anybody can do it. But when you look at what you write, at the end of the day, I look at my book and go, wow, did I really do this? It took a long time, but hey, it was well worth it. So thank you.
Well, we celebrated with you, Ricky and I, when we got the book and the package today. Ricky handed it to me and I was amazed. It was, what an accomplishment this was, Colleen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a great feeling that is. So in saying all that, again, we want to welcome you. Let's get some energy, some flowing going. And Mike, take it away, buddy.
So what we're going to do first is we're just going to share, I'm going to share my screen here of what our purpose is. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So at Northwest Coaches, who are we? We do exactly what we're called. We connect. We meet once a month and our purpose is to educate, building trusting relationships through networking, seek powerful synergy, and learn about each other and our businesses. We also seek to associate with like-minded individuals for growth, collaboration, and above all, celebrate life. Northwest Coaches is a meetup group of positive, proactive, and productive individuals who want more personal and professional business and life growth. So welcome, everybody. Let me minimize my other screen here. And what we're going to do now is just, I'm going to go around the room and we'll just have people, you have 45 seconds to share your name, where you're from, the name of your business, your specialty, and who you bring hope to. So I'll just go to my next screen. That would be Judy.
My name is Judy Amesbury. I live on the island of Guam. And I don't know if I'm bringing hope to anyone. I'm receiving hope from Michelle because I just retired a couple of weeks ago and I'm getting ready to move back to the continental US. I haven't lived in the continental US for more than 50 years.
Nice. Thank you. Good to meet you. And then Sean, you want to go?
Sure. My name is Sean Chase. I own a residential remodeling and construction company. And I find that I have to coach. Coach my employees often. So who I bring hope to? Well, hopefully I bring hope to my employees by giving them a paycheck.
Cool. Thanks, Sean. Glad to see you here.
Yep.
Let's go to Katie or Kathy. I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy, and I'm joining from Seattle, Washington. I work full-time, and I'm also starting up my business, but my full-time business, my full-time job is working at a Washington State agency to help students access post-secondary education in the state of Washington. And I actually went through a Hope Navigator training, which I'm looking forward to applying on my meetup. On my side business, I'm a meditation teacher, and I help others to move into spaces of empowerment, confidence, and clarity, especially when they have experienced tragedy and grief in their lives. And I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Cool. Nice to meet you, Kathy. Let's go next to Catherine.
Hi, I'm Catherine Parizio, and as Colleen mentioned, I've been working as an editor with New Vibe Press for I think about 1.5 years now. So I've been really enjoying just working on a variety of books. I'm based out of near Portland, Oregon, a small town called West Lynn. And I guess I bring hope to my family. I have my husband and my son, and then also my parents who just live a few miles away from me. And I spend time with them every week, started helping them. They're in their 80s now. So helping them with things that they need to navigate it's more challenging for them now. So.
Cool. Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, and I want to apologize in advance. I'm going to have to duck out about 6:30 because I had some other plans this evening, but nice to meet you all.
Glad you're here. Let's go next to Leilani.
Can't hear you, Carl.
Can I just share one thing? If you're connecting to write a book, we send you to Catherine to get the editing done. She does a fabulous job. And thank you, Catherine. You did a great job on Colleen's book.
Yeah, it was really fun too. Colleen, it's nice to see your face. We've never actually met.
I know, we've talked a lot.
We've talked a lot. I feel like I know you really well.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
Okay, well, I'm Leilani Sayas, and I am a life coach with Natural Capacities Resilience Life Coaching. I bring hope to adults who are contending with brain fog, focus, and forgetting problems. I help them find clarity to solve everyday problems and live with greater resilience. It's great to see everyone.
Awesome. Let's go next to Keith.
Good evening. Yeah, Keith Dickerson here, and I'm from Hope Community Church of Lake Oswego. Our website is hopeoswego.com, and I'm going on 40 years of pastoral ministry, and I look at bringing hope to community and business leaders and people of many walks of life and backgrounds in the Lake Oswego, greater Portland area.
Welcome, Keith. Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go next to Scott.
Hey, I'm Scott Landis. I'm a business and relationship coach. I work primarily, and I give hope primarily to married entrepreneurs who have school-age kids and are working on being the best version of themselves as a parent and a spouse. And my business is called Awaken Life Coaching and Training. Been coaching full-time since 2011.
Nice. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks.
Let's go next to Lorena.
Hi, I'm Lorena Najarro. I was invited today by Carl, so thank you, Carl. I apologize that I'm not on video. I'm actually driving. So I am here because I actually am going to be a part of the new cohort at New Vibe. And I give hope, I would like to say, to my students. I work for Stanford University. I am a student services administrator working with graduate students, faculty, staff. So I'd like to say that I give hope to those who may have some difficulties navigating the murky waters of academia. And I hope to be able to kind of launch out myself. So thank you for letting me join you guys.
Welcome. Let's see, let's go next to, we'll back up to Sandy.
I just got on. What are we supposed to be?
Just share your name, where you're from, the name of your business, and who you bring hope to.
So my name is Sandy, and my business, I make animated videos for small businesses, and I bring hope to I bring hope to my grandkids, and I hope to my clients who are hopeful that they're going to make more money using my animated videos.
Let's go. Great to have you here, Sandy.
Thanks.
Let's go to Robert next.
Hey, I just came on and I'm not sure what you're asking.
Oh, we just want to know your name, where you're from.
Oh, Robert Mars, Vancouver, Washington. Yeah.
And then do you have a business? And then the name of your business and who you bring hope to.
Who do I bring hope to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been a practicing psychotherapist for 43 years, and I brought hope to hundreds of people. People who have been traumatized. That's been my area of expertise, both children and adults. And I continue to do that 3 days a week, and I'm transitioning into becoming a life coach.
Nice. Glad you're here, Robert.
I am too.
And then let's go next to Louisa.
Hi, my name is Louisa, and I was invited by Carl. I'm a brand strategist, and I just recently finished a DEI certification in the workplace. And I'm interested in kind of emotional intelligence and in the space around that as well. And I don't know if I will do coaching or not, but Carl invited me, so I thought I would show up.
Glad you're here. All right, well, next we go to Kimberly.
I can't even figure this out.
Are you there, Kimberly?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I am. I'm late turning in, so I'm just listening.
No problem. Did you want to introduce yourself, Kimberly?
Oh, okay. I am Kimberly Blake. I went through Carl's coaching and New Vibe training several years ago. And this topic is something dear to me because of the circumstances that life throws at you. So thank you for inviting me, Carl, and here I am.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Kimberly.
Thank you.
And then now I'm going to introduce our speaker. So our speaker is Michelle Bizek. She's a coach, explainer, educator, and guide. She's been sharing actionable insights for fundamental transformation for over 30 years. Her ideas have helped people worldwide take evidence-informed action for her actual change in their lives. She's continually researches and finds ways to help others effectively live with foresight, clarity, courage, and confidence. Michelle holds a master's degree in education and a doctorate in leadership, inquiry, and transformation. She has served local, national, and global populations with her gifts and talents. She believes that living in alignment with one's calling, values, and authentic assignments is the best way to share one's gifts with the world for positive change. Michelle has purposefully leveraged hope amid change for over 35 years and believes now is a critical time to help hope flourish across the globe. Welcome our speaker, Michelle Bizek.
Hello, hello. I have a worksheet for you. I'm trying to drop it over into the chat, but it seems not to be picking up, which is unfortunate. I might have to send that off to you all a little bit later. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really, really am happy about this because I have been sorry, I'm just setting up here to share the screen, and that didn't go right with it. I have been carrying this message for some time now, and please forgive me for a moment while I get my screen set up. I'll just keep talking. This message of hope has been just building within me for over a year. And like many of you, you know, we've seen what's going on in the world, and there we go. How's that?
There we go.
Okay, thanks for your patience. And I just have this bubbling up inside of me, and you know, I've always been a hopeful person, but and an optimistic person. I'm going to talk about that a little bit here in a few minutes. But I'm just really happy to finally be able to bring this all together into a message and share it with you. So we're going to talk tonight about strengthening hope during uncertain times. And thank you for everyone who put forth an extra effort to find us here tonight at the right time, at the right place. I want to open up with a quick poll. And the way I want to run this poll tonight is you can just put your selection in the chat window, A, B, C, D, or E. And the question I want to put out to you is, what is hope to you? Is it a feeling? Is it a mindset, an emotional state, something else, or you're just not sure? Think about it for a moment and pop your answer there into the chat, if you will. Wonderful. A little bit of everything is coming in. I love that. Wonderful. Great. All right. So I'm going to put back to you a question now. Have you ever thought of hope as an action? Tonight, we're going to talk about hope as an action. And we're going to look here at the 3 C's of hope, some benefits and risks. You're still coming in with your answers. I love it. Everyone has their ideas about what hope is. We have some of the benefits of hope, some hope defeaters we're going to look at real quick. Some of you, just based on your introductions, I know you'll be familiar with some of those already. Then we're going to touch on hope in the coaching context, with relationship, for leaders, etc. And also how to increase hope in your world, in the world that you live in, your sphere, the people that you touch, and cultivate a lifestyle of hope. As we all know, the need for hope is tangible in today's world, isn't it? And as many people are struggling with rapid change, stress, and a pressing sense of uncertainty. But research has shown that hope has the potential to protect against physical and mental, to protect the physical and mental health, and even maybe to inoculate segments of society against despair. It's really important topic. And I will send the worksheet out to you later, as I mentioned. Now, to open, I'd like to tell you a story of hope. Some of you may, who've known me for a long time, may have heard this, but maybe it would be new for everyone. Years ago, I think it was about 18, as Carl mentioned, I went through Carl's coach training program, and it was fantastic and equipped me to be a great coach. People told me. But as the years went by, and I would work with people in the coaching relationship, sometimes there would be a case where someone would tell me what they wanted to do, and together we would set an action plan for that. And I could totally see them achieving their goals, but sometimes they didn't. And I puzzled over that, and I wondered, why is that? What happens? And so I had these questions. Why do people do what they say they do what they don't do what they say they want to do? Questions like this. And so I started looking for answers. And maybe like some of you, I like the straightest path to my answer. I just wanted to go straight there. But the fact is, sometimes our path is a little less direct. Sometimes we go one direction and then we have to readjust and go another direction. So I just got started. I was looking around for a place where I might find some of those answers, and I pursued that path. And I got a couple of answers, but not really what I was looking for. So then I came up with another path, and I continued on my path until I finally got to where I was satisfied. I felt like I had some of those answers that I was looking for. And this brings us to our first C in the 3 C's. This is the consciousness of hope. So here is what hope is. Hope is a learned and active mindset with thinking, perceptions, and cognitions at its core, rather than emotion. 2 components of hope that I'll talk about this evening are pathways thinking and agency thinking. Hope functioned as an active mindset for me in my story, and my mindset grew in strength for me as I set goals, generated pathways toward those goals, and then took action to pursue both the goals and the pathways. So hope is learned and active. Hope is learned in the context of other people, beginning in childhood and continuing into adulthood. Recurring successful goal attainment, however small, through specific actions taken, strengthens a hopeful mindset. However, when societal or cultural constraints stymie our actions or the outcomes that we're hoping for, hope can diminish. On the screen, you see some images that represent some context for hope development or hope frustration. And those include the home, the school, the workplace, friendships, and leadership in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous sometimes. Now, hope is also active. Now, on your screen, you have an image there, and the little circle on one side, that represents you, me, a person, where we are. And the lines represent where we want to go. You see that they connect to our visions, our dreams, and our goals. So hope has movement and it's active. And hope answers the question, what specifically can I do? To answer that question, a hopeful mindset supplies the cognitions to set goals and think of various ways to achieve those goals. Two components of hope, pathways thinking and agency thinking, working synergistically and reciprocally to move us toward our goals by illuminating and activating various pathways, potential pathways that we could take. And that's what the lines represent, the potential pathways. Now, pathways thinking is the cognitive aspect. Pathways thinking helps you imagine, see, and create pathways toward your goals or your desired future. Pathways thinking connects you to your vision. Hold for a moment, I'm going to admit someone to the room. Back to pathways thinking. Pathways thinking is what generates plausible routes relative to your goal pursuit and the means to achieve them. Pathways thinking thinks pragmatically about how choices in our present link to our desired future. It perceives correlations and causality in our experiences that help us design and envision those pathways. Pathways thinking asks this question, how might I? So whatever it is you're looking at doing, how might I do that? That's what pathways thinking helps with. Now, let's have an activity. I'd like for you to take a pen or a pencil, get up from your seat, and take it across the room and place it somewhere, and then return. Just 15 seconds. I think somebody's still away. We'll give them just a second to return. All right, so you've placed your pen or your pencil across the room for you. You've returned to your seat, so now there's a distance between you, okay? Now, imagine that, imagine that you now want to retrieve your pen or pencil without leaving your seat. How many different ways or pathways can you think of to get from your seat to your pen or pencil across the room? That seems simple right now. And do you believe that you could access any or all of those pathways? All right, keep those thoughts in mind as we continue. Now, pathways thinking activates when unexpected challenges show up in your pathways. Those unexpected challenges present the opportunity to use the doors closed, doors open exercise to generate new pathways. The triangles now, no, the diamonds rather, on the screen represent some sort of interruption in that pathway that had been envisioned. And so your pathway thinking will see that disruption, that interruption, and say, oh, I need to find a way around. So What might that look like? And if a door closes, could I have seen that coming? What door opens now? How do I move through a newly opened door? But more importantly, also importantly, will it still take me toward my goal and my dream? With pathways thinking, you generate the original pathway and alternatives and workarounds and new pathways. Hold on to your seat. There's now an alligator in your room between you and your pencil on the other side of the room. So remember the pathways you had designed before to get to your pen or your pencil? Well, now what will you do? There's a crocodile. This seems like an unexpected challenge that requires new pathways thinking. So look across your room and imagine, you don't have to get up to go get your pen this time, but imagine new pathways to bypass the crocodile and reach your pen. And if a couple of you would like to share how you're going to get around the crocodile, let's take 30 seconds for that. What are a few of your ideas? I can't see all of you at once, so I'm just going to say, speak up, and I'll just continue in a moment.
Cover the crocodile cage and walk over it.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Anyone else?
Well, I would stand up in my chair, get up on the dresser next to me, climb over it, and jump down on the couch and to avoid the alligator.
That's great. That's beautiful. That is generating new pathways if I've ever heard it. Anyone else have anything they want to share? All right, let's go on. Now, agency thinking. We've talked about pathways thinking. Now, agency thinking. This is the affective part of hope. It's the mindset of what you specifically can do to pursue your pathways. Agency thinking has two components of its own, belief and action. Agency requires the ability to take action and the belief that what you do will make a difference. Agency thinking says, I can do this. My actions have an effect. I can overcome challenges. I believe I can achieve my goal. Remember when I talked about hope being learned in different contexts like home, school, the workplace, friendships, and leadership? For hope to function, a person must believe that they have the ability to take some action, however small, and what he or she does will make a difference, small or large. Agency helps people summon and apply the necessary motivation to the best pathway. For coaches, this is so important. I know not everyone here tonight is a coach, doesn't matter. We opened up by asking, who do you bring hope to? That means this applies to everyone here tonight. Helping others or your clients identify their chosen pathways, actions that they can take on those pathways, and then activating belief. But how do we activate agency thinking? By calling on past successes. When have you had success with something similar before? What did you do then? And why did it work? I'll talk a little bit more about increasing hope later. So you can see on the illustration on the screen there that we have the person with agency moving along pathways, encountering some sort of unexpected challenge, and then finding a new pathway, like some of you described a moment ago. And you can see this reciprocal, synergistic relationship between agency thinking and pathways thinking. With each new success, pathways thinking is strengthened to generate new pathways. So they're mutually reinforcing, creating an upward spiral of more hope, more goal attainment, more pathways. This is a good time to explain the difference between hope and optimism. Hope, in a nutshell, hope has more substance than optimism. Now, I'm an eternal optimist. Anyone who's ever spent any time with me will know this about me, so I fully value optimism. However, hope, remember, is an active state of mind that involves specific possibilities and thought about how to make those possibilities a reality. Optimism can be thought of as a general belief that things will turn out well in the future. Hope is specific and has action. Hope relates to that which is within my control, and optimism relates to that outside of my control. Now, for the third C in the continuum, is the continuum of hope. We have fearful, and we have hopeful. And the brief descriptions that I've given so far with those, maybe you can begin to see this continuum of hope. People with low hope tend to be fearful, and people with high hope are, well, hopeful. Of course, we're all human and we all live on the continuum, and hope can be contextual, with high hope in some situations or contexts and low hope elsewhere. This illustration is another way of looking at how pathways thinking and agency thinking might show up in different people and in different contexts. Let's take a quick look at these individually. High agency, high pathways. Lots of belief that a person can take action, that it makes a difference, lots of ideas on ways to move toward the goal, to achieve your desires. High agency, high pathways, this kind of person you're going to see really making progress toward their goals that have been well defined. They might have lots of goals, and they might have lots of ideas about how to get there. And when a challenge or an unexpected interruption comes up, they can come up with new ways. Now, the other one there with the yellow circle, high agency, low pathways. This person will believe that they can do a lot of things that will make a difference, and they might have a lot of energy, but they might have trouble identifying various pathways, multiple pathways, or even which pathway might be best to take. And so you would have trouble, this person, you would see them having some trouble moving forward because they're low on pathways thinking. And now the red circle there, low on agency, but high in pathways thinking. So this person might be able to generate lots of possible ways that they might move forward to their goals and their dreams and their visions, and always be coming up with new ideas, but not really make any forward motion because they're low on agency. So their belief that what they do makes a difference is low or stymied for some reason. And then the last one, the blue circle, low agency and low pathways. This is a problem. This is something that we all hope to remedy, to help elevate the agency thinking and the pathways thinking so that people can move toward their goals. A person who has low agency and pathways thinking is probably not going to be seeing much movement in their life toward goals, or feel like even that they have much hope for anything to change. Now, as you might expect, there are great benefits of having high hope, and there are some very real risks associated with low hope. As coaches, we're uniquely equipped to help our clients with high hope strengthen their pathways and agency thinking for even higher outcomes. And we can support our clients who are at risk by helping them develop their sense of agency and their pathways thinking. So high hope displays the characteristics listed here. As I've mentioned already throughout this presentation, clear goals, more pathways, more certain of pathways, more decisive on choosing the best or the preferred pathway to get started. Also, internal affirmations and positive self-talk, and a high confidence in their capacity to achieve the desired goals. That's the agency thinking at work there. Also, flexibility, able to rechannel their agency to generate new pathways, like we saw in the illustration with the diamonds, when those disrupted or interrupted rather the pathway somewhere. Also very important, people with high hope see challenges as opportunities. They're more resilient when faced with stressors, something that cannot be overstated in the world today, to be able to do that. Deals well with uncertainty and is able to sustain focus. All of these characteristics and expressions that are listed here have all been researched and have been shown to be true of people with high hope. On the flip side, of course, there are risks associated with low hope. Low hope is going to display, a person with low hope is going to display, could display some of these characteristics listed here on the screen. They might be uncertain, have difficulty generating pathways toward their goals, have some negative self-talk, become easily stuck. I mean, think about it. If you lack the belief that what you do makes a difference, it would be easy to become stuck. Also more susceptible to stressors and so forth. And remember the reciprocal and the synergistic relationship between agency thinking and pathways thinking. So when hope is strong and agency thinking and pathways thinking is strong, you see that upward spiral building and strengthening both. But based on what we see here on the screen, can you see how these characteristics have the potential to create a reverse or downward spiral rather than the upward spiral. So important every chance we get to try to increase hope in the people and the world around us. Now, how did the crocodile in the room affect your sense of hope, your agency, and your pathways thinking earlier? Some of you were pretty quick. Let's see, I think it was Sandy that was going to do some gymnastics all the way across the room. That was great. The fact is, when a challenge comes into our path, it does affect us. And we will either confront that challenge and come up with a way around it to solve it, or that challenge, it might seem too big and it might stymie us. And so as coaches, or anyone working and talking with other people, we need to be cognizant of how the events in our clients' lives can affect their hope and how we can support them in moving forward. And again, the descriptors that you see there on the screen are some indicators that you can watch for or listen to in your conversations with your clients. I will have time at the end for questions and answers. So please be writing down anything that you want to talk about afterwards. All right, now, how does this topic of hope fit into the coaching relationship, apply to leadership, and fit with the organizational context? As coaches, we might we'll definitely find ourselves in the first category of having a coaching conversation, and some of us will be working with leaders or even a larger context in the organizational context. So first, in the coaching relationship, remember the iterative and additive, synergistic and reciprocal relationship between pathways thinking and agency thinking. So these two components work closely together. And again, with each success, the accompanying positive emotion that comes with that success, they increase, they're mutually reinforcing. And this is one reason why we begin our coaching conversations by asking questions you'll all be familiar with. What's working? What are the wins? What are the successes? When we ask these questions, we orient our clients to their pathways and their agency. And we stimulate that the positive emotion that comes with recognizing there is something working. There are some wins in my life today or in my life this week. And when we do that, when we generate that positive emotional connection between a past success, and it helps to stimulate that for future goal attainment. And doing so, of course, as I keep saying, strengthens the pathways thinking and the agency thinking. And I could ask what happens then, but I'm pretty sure by now you all know, more pathways thinking, more ideas of ways to get where someone wants to go. Now, when you increase hope, of course, you gain the benefits associated with hope. Some of those, once again, clearer goals, more decisiveness, confidence, greater focus, flexibility, and so on. So what if your client is having difficulty with pathways thinking and agency thinking? A little later, I'll give some very practical tips and lists, and in the worksheet that I have for you, I have them listed out as well, actions you can take. But just here, in this moment, an idea is to start small. Choose one area with your client and set a minor goal. Something that your client feels he or she has some control over. That's important. And then help them accrue a win. Celebrate, generate some positivity and energy around the win, and name the positive feelings and begin that cycle of reciprocal, synergistic, iterative growth and strength and increasing in hope. Now, building on new ideas for the individual, let's apply them to leaders. Now, what question does hope answer? Who remembers? What is the question that hope answers? 5 seconds. Hope answers the question, what specifically can I do? What specifically can I do? Now for the leader, this question, sorry, I'm just going to get someone else to the room. Those are coming to me tonight. So for the leader, this question relates to them personally because they are an individual, just like everyone else. And also the question relates to the people that they lead. It relates to the organization as a living entity comprised of people. Now, agency thinking comprises belief and action. So the people that they're leading, the people in the organization, do they believe that they can take an action that will make a difference? If not, what is blocking that belief or action? It might be with the individual or within the organizational context. Perhaps some of you have experienced or seen an organizational construct where people want to do what's right. People want to move forward. They want to exercise their agency in their world of work, but there are factors in the organization or business that are disincentives. And, or in this case, on the topic of hope, they might undermine the sense of agency. And so those are things to be watching out for with, if you happen to be coaching leaderships and they're leaders rather, and they're wondering, where are my people with hope and why do they seem low on hope? Ask, do they believe what will happen, that if they take action, it will make a difference? And so you can listen for clues from the continuum of hope. Remember low hope, high hope, and the descriptors for both, and those risks and those benefits. You can listen to those in the conversations you're having with the individuals, with the leaders, or if you happen to have the opportunity to just be about an organization, you can listen to the conversations that are taking place. As coaches, we can highlight when we hear examples of resilience when faced with stressors, call these out. These are small wins. Or when we hear challenges described as opportunities, another win. Or when we recognize that a client is dealing well with uncertainty, certainly something we can all relate to right now. These are all wins in the context of hope, and drawing attention to them will activate, again, that reciprocal relationship, and it will strengthen the pathways thinking and agency thinking, building hope in the process. Now, hope in the organizational context is truly fascinating because all the facets of the organization or business, whichever the case is, contribute to developing hope or undermining hope. Hope is the learned and active mindset that answers the question, what specifically can I do? So in the organizational context or the business context, things like organizational culture, team support, work environment, work stress, all influence the answer to the question for each individual at every level. Are they riding the wave of challenge, or are they about to be submerged by the wave? Active listening, paying attention to the people around us in the organization. Another admission to the room there. So when the components of the organizational context support pathways thinking and agency thinking in the individuals that make up the organization, you'll see the characteristics and benefits of high hope benefiting the organization. So important. It's also interconnected, the individual, the leaders, the organization. Again, a few of these characteristics that could benefit the organization include more innovation by envisaging more pathways for the organization or for the business. Increased confidence in the capacity to achieve shared goals that the people in the organization are all working toward. Flexibility to rechannel agency to generate new pathways when faced with unexpected challenges So many organizations, nearly every organization was faced with that over the last couple of years. And some pivoted quickly and some pivoted a little more slowly. But high agency, high pathways thinking would definitely support that. And then resilience as well. And sustained focus. You know, the world is pretty distracting right now, is it not? And it's a real accomplishment for any of us if we can sustain our focus toward our goals, our desired outcomes, our dreams, and our visions. High hope is what will help us do that. Now, coaches working with organizations and businesses can help cultivate hope by exploring first whether the various aspects and people of the organization are building a sense of agency and pathways thinking or undermining it. And then, of course, as a coach, design a path forward to strengthen hope across the people in the organization as necessary. Now, earlier I described some experiences that could nurture hope or compromise hopeful thought. So here I want to highlight 2 potential hope defeaters that we can watch out for and we can help others recognize and chart a path out of. First is loss. Many people have experienced loss over the past few years, in addition to the loss that, you know, occurs in everyday life. Loss can undermine goal-directed thought. Hopeful goal-directed thought thinking occurs in context and often relates to our experiences with other people, and it can be stymied by what's going on in the world around us, societal constraints, upheaval, so many different things. Loss is one of the is one potential hope defeater. Another hope defeater is trauma, as some of you will be well aware of already. Traumatic events have the potential to divest people of their natural desire and motivation to set and pursue goals. So listen to the thought patterns that you hear when you're talking with people. Does the narrative that you're hearing have indications of giving up, wanting to play it safe, wanting to protect what you have at the expense or neglect of exercising your gifts, talents, and abilities? An important question at this point, of course, is how might we disrupt and disempower these hope defeaters? Active listening, again, can help a person recognize where they might be living with a hope defeater and help them know when they're ready to turn toward hope again. You might need to start small. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Help your clients identify a specific action that they could take, one small goal that they could achieve to begin rebuilding hope. And in a moment, I'll show you some more ways to rebuild and strengthen and cultivate hope. All of you are in a position to strengthen and increase hope somewhere. And we need to increase hope so that more people live with the strength listed here on the screen. Not going to read them again to you, but just know every one of you has the potential to be able to strengthen hope in the people in the world in which you live. Now let's move on over to cultivating a lifestyle of hope. I don't know if you're loving this little whimsical image that I put together, but every time I see it, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. And again, it's illustrating that reciprocal synergistic building of agency thinking and pathways thinking. With each success, it builds and it grows. And so each of those, the agency thinking and the pathways thinking, can be developed. They can be practiced and they can be increased and strengthened. And the key is that with each perception of successful goal attainment, that positive energy builds to further motivate more pathways thinking, stronger agency thinking, more creativity. I believe that we can best help others develop their hope when we understand and practice our own pathways thinking and agency thinking. Then we can help our clients do the same. It makes sense, right? So I just want to pause for just 5 seconds because I've given you a fair amount of information here. I just want to pause on this screen and ask you to consider your own hope. your own hope level, your own sense of agency and agency thinking, your own pathways thinking. Can you think of a recent success or win where you exercised your pathways thinking? And can you identify or recognize where your agency thinking came in and activated to help move you along that pathway? Of course, you don't have to answer. I just wanted to give a moment for you to think about that. Again, and perhaps you saw that on the previous slide. The important question to ask is, how might we? How might I? How might this happen? What might we do? So some real specific questions here on how to cultivate pathways thinking and how to cultivate agency thinking, whether for yourself, for your family, for your coworkers, for your coaching clients, for the stranger you meet on the street. This is so needed in today's world, everywhere, every day. So these questions can help to help you get started or continue thinking about developing these two ways of thinking. So pathways thinking, I want to look at that real quick. It asks, what is going on? And where do I want to go? And what's stopping me? Some other questions that you might add to that are the question I mentioned a moment ago. How might I? How might we? How might we get around that crocodile? How might we envisage a path that will take us toward the goal that we've identified? And then, of course, for agency thinking is the affective part. Agency thinking has two components as well, belief and action. Which strengths can I use to achieve my goal? Which strengths will help move me along? Do I believe I can do that? And can I take the action that I want to take? And do I believe that if I take the action, it will make a difference? These are all such important questions. And again, framing these in the context of similar successes, past wins, past successes, from which you can extract a nugget and apply it to one of those little diamonds on the pathway and say, oh, I've been somewhere like this before, and this is what I did, and this is what worked. How can I apply that now on this pathway? And do I need to modify my pathway or adjust my pathway to go around? And the worksheet that I prepared for you, these questions are on there. So I should have told you that up front. You don't have to be frantically writing them down. If you wanted to, I'll share that out somehow. You know how? I'm going to put my email up in the chat, and you can ask me for it in case I don't have a way to share that out. Just real quick on this. This is an adaptability framework that I do work with, and HOPE has been identified through research and validated studies that HOPE is one dimension of adaptability in the context of the world of work. And I personally believe it's in the context of any adaptability anywhere. You have to have hope if you're going to adapt. You have to believe that you can chart a path forward and take action to move you in that way. And so if anyone has any questions about that framework, I'm happy to connect with you later and talk more about it. And I also have these other topics that I'm passionate about. Pathways thinking as its own topic is obviously something to be explored with your clients or whoever is in your life. Same with agency thinking. Pragmatic prospection, another topic very similar to pathways and agency thinking. Pragmatic prospection, some of you may be familiar with that already, is the practice of thinking about your future and thinking about your present choice and how to make a choice in the present that is most likely to get you to your desired future, and the process that you go through as you're making those decisions and having those cognitions. And then, of course, another topic very dear to my heart is adaptability and equipping the world, people of the world, to adapt in this rapidly changing world in which we live. And then, of course, hope in the future. What can I say there? Hope and the future. I mean, sometimes I think it's hard for us to even put those two words in the same sentence, but I believe that that is so, that we can do that we can hope for the future. And now that we know the science of hope, and we know about agency thinking and pathways thinking, and we know that the key question is, what specifically can I do? I think then we can start to frame hope for the future. And now we have time for questions, if there are any. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now to see your lovely faces a little bit better, and invite you to ask me anything you'd like about this topic.
Anybody has a question, just please raise your hand.
Annette?
Did you see that?
I did.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. This has really been fascinating. I mean, talk about a deep dive into a subject that I didn't realize. I mean, I always say, well, I have hope and I believe this can happen, but really unpack the science of it. But that kind of comes back to my curiosity is normally when I say, or someone else says, I have hope, it oftentimes follows with in something or someone. Case in point, Princess Leia in the first Star Wars movie, as she's taking the plans for the Death Star and sticking it into R2-D2, says, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. So how do you, I mean, you talked about the science and all of that, but what about can you speak to the idea of hope in something or hope in someone a little bit?
Yeah, I love the example that you brought up, Annette. Absolutely love it because it's perfect. Princess Leia, in that moment, she was exercising pathways thinking and agency thinking. Her hope wasn't really, she was hopeful that Obi-Wan would do something and help them. But she was exercising her hope because she devised a pathway. She was going to use R2-D2 as the carrier, right? She exercised her agency when she embedded the data there in R2-D2. So she, in that example that you gave, exercised both agency thinking and pathways thinking. Her agency thinking was strong because she knew she could take action and she believed it would make a difference. So I think a more hopeful statement for her, or a more accurate statement for her would have been, I'm hopeful that Obi-Wan will do this, rather than my hope is in him. I don't know if that helps at all.
Michelle?
Because, oh,
Somewhat,
sorry.
yes.
Okay, well,
No, that's okay, go ahead.
Are you finished?
Yeah, Kathy has her hand raised though, so.
So hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for this awesome presentation. I got cut off, so I didn't know if you already mentioned it when I jumped back into the call because of my internet connection. But is this framework from Dr. Chan, The Science and Power of Hope? Is this the framework that you learned it from?
Great question. There are two different streams of research on this. The stream of research for hope is from Rick Snyder mostly, and there's some information on that on the worksheet. And then the adaptability framework is something else altogether, being done by a company called Adapt AI.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Carl, your hand is up.
You know, I once heard a speaker say you can live without water for a while, without air for a while, without food for a while, but you cannot live without hope. Is that, I mean, how do you connect with that?
Yeah, it would be a sad existence. I mean, I don't know if I would agree with it completely because I think you can stay alive, right? So a person could live technically, but it wouldn't really be a very, very fulfilling life or happy life. A couple of years ago, I did some research on adaptability. And part of that, as I mentioned, has to do with hope. And my research touched 98 women across 26 countries. And in the data, I was actually able to identify a few points, demographic points, if you will, that where lower hope would show up. I'll say it that way, where lower hope would show up. And when I reflected on that, to think about those people and those demographics and what their life was like, I could see how, given the world that they were living in, their culture, if you will, that they would have lower hope. And I really felt that. I felt empathy for that, you know, on a day-to-day basis. What would it be like to have your agency, your sense of agency undermined or diminished or something? So it's so important for quality of life. I guess if I was going to respond to the quote, I would say it's so important for quality life.
Great response. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, sure.
Terrific presentation.
Mike, your hand is up.
Yeah, this was so relevant to me. I mean, I didn't know I was doing everything that you just described visually, but my wife went in the hospital on January 19th, and they didn't do anything to treat the COVID that she had, and she was this close to going on a ventilator. And somebody gave me some information, and I actually did have to adapt. I had to demand the doctors give my wife a medication that helped her breathe and keep her off a ventilator. And then she's been in there for over a month. So I've had to adapt over and over again to the different medications they give her and the side effects they had, and just being able to ask questions and being able to demand, you know, say we're not taking that because of the side effects. And so it's been like you just diagrammed my last month and a half. So thank you. It was wonderful.
Oh, you're welcome. So you know what the little diamonds represent.
Yeah. And I found it takes practice. It takes practice of just being open and asking those questions that you were listing there of how can I shift this? How can I make a different decision? How can I get there differently? And so that's been really relevant. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So now you've been, if I may ask, you've been through this experience now for a couple months, and you've identified the components that we've talked about. Do you feel like they've strengthened?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, she almost died 8 years ago. I went through she was hospitalized for 3 weeks. And so we had to go through. So for the last 8 years, we learned whenever she goes in the hospital, we ask a lot of questions. So many the doctor stops coming in the room. Because we want to know why they're doing things, because they'll just do things because it's on a list.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, we've gotten really good at asking hard questions. But thank you. Yeah, it is. And you strengthen it as you learn. You begin to build a pattern of you know, realizing that there's always another way. There's always another way.
I do believe that. I do believe that as well. So as you listen to me, are there any other questions? I just want to put another thought out there. As you listen to me talk about this topic and this discussion now, are you thinking of people in your lives that you might be able to help strengthen their hope, that you might be able to help them with their sense of agency and strengthen their sense of agency? I mean, maybe it's a coaching client, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a coworker. Are these people coming to mind for you? And do you have an idea of what you might do first? What is the first thing you might do?
I think that one way is to help them identify their beliefs. What are they believing? Because our actions follow our beliefs, right? So getting to that core of the belief. It's, you know, I'm going to be working with clients who have experienced, you know, the loss of a loved one. And that is certainly a place where you lose hope. You know, everybody goes through, you know, a duration of that in their grieving, mourning process. I was able to see myself in a lot of those places when I experienced some, you know, tragic, traumatic loss. And yeah, the beliefs that we carry make a difference on how we move forward in hope.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
Now, to the leadership team, I need to ask you, since I was unable to share my worksheet in the chat, is there a way to distribute it to the attendees, or is the best thing for me to just put my email in the chat and then just connect one-on-one and send that out?
Why don't we do both, okay?
Yeah.
We can get it out through a post, a meetup post, as soon as Thursday we can. And then put it also in the chat room. So we'll do it both ways.
That's great.
And I want to share something too. Last year, my father is mid 80s, and he's deteriorating. And recently he's been deteriorating rapidly. And I got a call last week from my brother, and he says, you know, you're going to have to start looking about making arrangements, coming down. We're you know, and I called my dad and I said, you know, Dad, I know you got more in you. Eat more and just keep this hope piece going, because you know I just don't want you to leave Mom alone yet. And the next couple of days he actually started to get his strength back, and I called my brother again, and he's he's made a shift, and he's now awake and aware and getting some more energy. And I thought to myself, it's nothing about me, but it's actually words that you can say that actually can bring hope to people's life. Just a word of encouragement, an affirmation, something to lift them up can actually make a big difference. And I saw this first evidence in my father, and I actually called him this weekend again, and he was clear in his thinking, and he just had that energy back.
So true.
Just your words matter.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. Just telling someone, I believe in you. I believe in you. So powerful.
Yep.
So now, does anybody else have any other questions or any takeaways that you might have from Michelle's presentation?
I have something.
Okay.
Hey, Robert.
Okay. I just want to say that the nature of your body of information was so scientific, but the impression that is left for me is the spirit of hope that you emulate. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job.
And I think, especially as I'm dealing with people who are living with chronic health conditions, there's a lot of lack of hope there, because they've just given into it. They have they've gotten the impression that it's just too hard and too difficult to do. But as Robert was saying, I think one of the best ways you can give hope to someone is, yes, through your words, but also is to give that example of how you have been able to make it through. Not that everybody is the same as you are, but you have found that hope, and that is the hope that you want them to also be able to step into with you. So if you have experienced and you have ways that you can encourage them and be an example to them, I think that's incredibly significant.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Michelle, this is Keith Dickerson here. I affirm you too. That was very timely for me and for the context of my ministry and my coaching. And we've spent about 20 years as a local church, not avoiding the crocodiles, but wading through the swamp sometimes. And thanks to the idea of agency, we made some major resolutions in the last month. And so this was a great way for me to see pathway and agency all brought together, and just to give some thought to what we've done. And I'm motivated to write this down. and just make sure that we've got this as a memorial and a chart for us, so we'll know better how to proceed in the future as well. So thank you very much.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with me, Keith.
Mhm.
If I may, I want to ask the same question that I asked with Mike earlier. Now that you've recognized it, do you feel strengthened? Do you feel that they have strengthened within you?
Definitely so. Yes, yes. And I've seen immediately I've seen empowerment in our leadership team at our local church, of which we've got 3 separate teams who worked on resolving a 20-year challenge. And and so it's to watch the weights and the burdens fall off of people's shoulders, the blinders come off their eyes. That right there is the most rewarding thing I've ever seen in going on 40 years of ministry, but going on 20 years of ministry with one congregation who has struggled to get through this. And so it's nice that we're not going to lose any more limbs to the crocodiles or alligators in the swamp. We're going to find better ways, better pathways, and take advantage of agency, especially.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Any other questions or takeaways from the presentation? All right, so what we want to do now is share our next month's speaker. So our next month's speaker is Scott and Tonya Landis, and they're going to talk about relationships. And Richard, if you want to share a little bit about a little snippet about what you're going to share in our next month's meeting.
Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Scott. I'm not sure if Tanya's joining us or not, but Scott and I have had a conversation this last week, and he's kind of shifted gears a little bit, which I think today was a great lead up for what Scott's going to do. And so Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, kind of changed things up recently based on the growth mindset theme. I don't know if I can, does anybody have control of me able to share my screen and just share something real quick to help deliver the teaser? Is that possible? Okay, looks like, there we go. Hang on, let me do it. All right. So yeah, so basically I'm gonna just build on what Michelle shared, and I love the topic. I mean, we're hope dealers, right? I love what Carl said too, just we can speak hope into our clients, and if we get confident in our ability to coach people and change lives, it's amazing. So I want to deliver something to you guys next week that will help you have, you know, high agency and high pathway. This is, a lot of you have probably heard of strategic planning. This is a strategic planning pyramid here, but basically, just to keep it real brief, what I'm going to talk about next month is kind of goals, but not just goals, because we know that you know, our habits create our results, right? Our habits are directly linked to our results, and we want those habits to be in line with our goals, but we need those goals to be in line with our purpose and our core values in order to stay in alignment. And you can see how this completely lines up with what Michelle's been talking about, and you know, just builds 1 month to the next. It's almost like we planned it this way, Carl and Richard. But yeah, I'll go deeper into it next month. This is the preview of what we're going to see next month, but that kind of gives you an idea of what we'll be up to next month.
Cool. Thanks, Scott. And now that you know what's happening next month in April, invite another person to come and let them know, give them the snippet, and we'll be sharing a post on LinkedIn and stuff. And so share that out to your family and friends that want to learn, you know, how to create those positive habits and set goals and achieve them. So is there any other, so now I'm going to take it over to Carl now, and he's going to give our closing remarks.
Wow, just huge thank you to Michelle. Michelle, you're so dear, so wonderful. I remember her, it was 2004, and she was getting her education journey going, and now I got to call her Dr. Michelle. My gosh, incredible, Michelle, what you've done. So thank you for contributing to the world like you do, and your passion and your heart. It's beautiful. I love it. You know, this is education that leads you toward transformation. And the goal is to help people change their lives, because what they're doing is not working. So we want to have this information available to build our toolbox up, and never stop building your skills. Never stop growing. Never stop adding to the topic of your conversation and your skill set to help people. It's not for you, it's to give it away. So thank you so much. Next month, I can't wait to see my good buddy Scott. Scott is a wonderful man, and his wife, a beautiful lady. They have 3 wonderful kids. So living in Arizona, he wanted to leave the rain here in Oregon 2 years ago. And I don't think he's coming back either. So
Don't miss it.
So I want to know if we've got a few minutes, but I'd like to end with maybe you saying a last word. It could come from anywhere, from this presentation, from your life. Let's end this with a last word, and then I'll just say goodbye until next month. So who wants to jump out? Hopefully everyone will have a last word to say. We've got 13 people still online. Go ahead, jump out. Who wants to say a last word?
Yeah, Carl, you started off with a quote from Desmond Tutu, and I had the privilege to sit down with Archbishop Tutu when I was in seminary and have a conversation with him. At that point in time, this was back in the 80s, he was speaking hope back then. I don't know when he wrote that, but for such a short man, he was so powerful. And his message was so powerful, and it has stuck with me all these years.
What's your one word? What's your one word, Richard?
My one word, I'm just going to stick with hope. It's there.
Who's next? Your one word.
Yeah, I'll go resilience.
Nice. Who's next? One word.
I'll go practice.
Practice.
Hope
Good
is a
word.
practice.
Yes. Who's next?
Example.
Yes. Next.
Hope.
Yes. We'll do hope again. Yes. Who else?
Agency.
Agency. Nice. Who else?
Visualize what you want.
Visualize what you want. 3 words. That's good. It all fits in one. And then I saw focus. Somebody said focus on the chat room. Who was that? I didn't have.
Yeah, that was me. Focus, and I would also add consistency, Carl.
Nice. Sweet. Sweet. Who else? Jump in. A word before we depart.
I'll say solution.
Nice. Good
Solution.
word. Solution. Who else? Jump in.
How might we?
What was that?
How might we?
How
might we?
How might we?
How
Yeah.
might we do this? How might we get where we want to go? How might we?
Great. Who else? Who hasn't gone yet? Is that everybody?
Sean.
Sean, do you have a word for us?
I'll add hope.
Hope. Hope is it. Okay, yeah, thumbs up on hope. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your month. See you in April, and stay hopeful. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle.